Maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's part of it. It's a good rivalry.
Yeah, to me, this fight it's weird. It kind of grew a new life after the division, or I should say, after the UFC moved on from it. It actually got even hotter, and that was kind of surprising.
Real quick, Long Island Luke, if I can bring you in for the betting angle. No DraftKings lines, but early offshore lines have a plus 175. I'm sorry, plus 200 underdog here for Della Maddalena, where Islam would be a minus 175 favorite.
Yeah.
How do you speak on that? I mean, I doubted JDM against the law. I don't know if he do it again, but I also.
All right. So we got an interesting show ahead of us right now. Obviously, that's Morning Combat. They have some pretty interesting takes, of which I'm going to sort of, ride off of. Right. For example, when they talked about the Dagestani and the Georgian rivalry, that never crossed my mind. I'm going to be honest with you, right? I never thought about it. I never would imagine that that was a thing. But now, as it's developing, there is a thing going on with the Dagestanis and the Georgians, which I'm starting to think that, hey, with the dominance that the Georgians, I'm sorry, the Dagestanis have in the current moment of time and in the past couple of years, I think it is safe to say that the Georgians are somewhat what you would consider the antidote to that particular style. And if so, what are some clear examples that we can go off of to sort of hint at that notion? Number one, you got Marab, uh, who beat Omar Nurmagomedov. Now, I got to tell you, Omar Nurmagomedov going into that fight was the heavy favorite. A lot of people favored Umar to beat Marab. Lo and behold, what happened? Marab has a certain style that is very hard to contend with and was just a little bit faster and a little bit more on the hustle than that of Umar, which, by the way, that style lended itself to the victory that Marab needed. So are they the antidote, the Georgians, to the Dagestanis? Possibly. But what we do know right now is that there's another rivalry that is brewing within the Dagestanis and the Georgians, and that is with none other than Islam Makhachev and Ilya Topuria. Now, right now, both of these guys are throwing shots at each other online because obviously that is the safest way to go about this situation because guess what? These guys are not going to fight each other anytime soon. So it's easy for them to talk smack to each other, but at the same time, it's a good build. You see, Islam is being accused of being a hypocrite. Ilya is saying to Islam, "You didn't want to give me an opportunity because I'm the little guy. Now you're the little guy going up. So be it." I tell you what, there's a lot of good implications for this fight. Number one, you could see Ilya Tapora potentially becoming a three-weight champion. You want to know how that happens? First, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, because we're about to get on and cracking right here on this live stream. And we're going to talk about Tory Lanez. We're also going to talk about why the heavyweight division in the UFC is on the decline. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get this cracking right now. So, like I said, there is a possibility that Ilya Tapora could become a three-weight champion if he just allows Islam to do what he needs to do and also concentrate on what he needs to do against Charles Oliveira, which isn't too far away from now. Okay, we're talking about May right now. It is in June of 28th next month. And yeah, as a result of that, I think he needs to concentrate on his own fight and let Islam win his fight. Well, how exactly are we going to do that? And why is it that I implied Ilya has a chance to be a three-weight champion? Three-weight champion. Remember this. If Islam can beat JDM and Ilya can do his thing and do exactly what we know Ilya to do, He'll be champion. Islam will be champion, and Ilya has a shot of being a three-weight champion. Even more impressive than what Islam will do or what others before him have done, the likes of Conor McGregor, uh, uh, Amanda Nunes, Daniel Cormier. The list goes on. Even Randy Couture. Obviously, this is more of a Randy Couture situation where he won two belts separately in different times rather than uh, winning it at the same time in the way that Conor McGregor did. In fact, Conor McGregor was the first one to have ever done that. Conor did that in his Cage Warriors run, and now here he is redoing it again in 2016. And then afterwards, they stopped doing the double championship. And we're going to delve into that, right? Why is it that they decided to do that? Well, I think there's a lot of leverage power that a double champion holds, and in particular, Conor McGregor, right? I'm not saying that every double champion is all equal, because Conor McGregor being a double champion is a little bit different than Amanda Nunes being a double champion and Daniel Cormier being a double champion. It's very different. You want to know what else is different? The promotional value behind them. Okay, the fact that Conor McGregor was a once in a lifetime superstar. I mean, even Ali Abdelaziz, who in recent times in an interview that he did with Brett Okamoto, even professed that Conor McGregor is a superstar. Most of these guys are not stars in the way that Conor is. And that was sort of Ali Abdelaziz's dig at Ilya Topuria. Everybody saying in the notion that he is a superstar. But in reality, Ali Abdelaziz sees him as just a normal fighter who just happens to be on a winning streak right now. Here's another thing that I think many people forget to take into serious consideration regarding this fight, okay? Because there's some important things that you really need to look at and understand about this fight, right? What if Ilya Topuria and Islam Makhachev don't win their fights? Now, we're saying that they can win their fights. We're predicting that they're going to win their fights. We're not even giving JDM or Charles Oliveira a shot in the dark here. In fact, you're probably thinking to yourself, man, you know what? The particular chip on the shoulder of Charles Oliveira and JDM right now. Think about this. Everybody is saying that, you know what? We're going to have JDM lose and Charles Oliveira lose, and there's nothing anybody can do anything about it. Shout out to the people that are in the chat right now. We got Christ is King, Kyrie, Abu El-Kheer, I miss you. I haven't seen you in the stream forever. Shout out to you, Christ is King. Dinglestein Plays says, hello, what's up, my man? Henworld the First says, what's up? How are you guys? Everybody on the chat, let me know what part of the world you are at, because we are going to have an epic conversation regarding Islam Makhachev taking on JDM, Charles Oliveira versus Ilya Topuria. And we're already predicting that these two guys, these two main stars that we have right now, is that they're both going to win. Who wins, JDM or Islam? Well, Christ is King, I got to tell you, I'm obviously going to be biased on the side of Islam, right? But it's not an easy fight. It is not an easy fight. JDM is a serious champion, and he needs to be taken with serious respect. Chattiest Gaming says, I am here. Shout out to Chattiest Gaming. Dinklestein Play says, I think Anthony Smith could have been a champion on paper. Correct. All he had to do was stay down, right? And not allow himself to stand back up after he got that illegal shot from John Jones. And he would have had a rematch against John Jones, because there was no way Dana White was going to allow this man to walk around with the belt without John Jones doing something about it. So he might have gotten pay-per-view money as a champion defending against John Jones on a rematch. So one can agree that he definitely did miss out on a big bag there, but it is what it is by the end of the day. So I understand what you mean, Dinkelstein plays, when you say that I think Anthony Smith could have been champion on paper. Now, Crisis King says Anthony on paper is better than John Jones. Anthony on paper is better than John Jones. Okay, that's an interesting comment there, Crisis King. Now, are you saying that in regards to the fact that Anthony Smith is a better person than John Jones? And if so, then I mean that's hard to argue, right? But then again, also you understand this from a religious point of view. It is only Allah that judges us in the end. It is only Allah that knows what's in our hearts. So just a little, little off-topic thing that I wanted to mention on that. But obviously, with a bit of a religious component that I'm sure you can appreciate as well. Uh, Harold the first says, "Who is your favorite fighter?" That's a good question, Harold. I get this question a lot in this channel, and I'm going to answer it with this, right? So if you ask me who my favorite boxer is, I'm going to answer it, and I can answer it ethically. I have that Terrence Crawford. I think is that guy right now on that particular list. Also, in the wrestling side of things, you could say my favorite wrestler is Sajulayev, which is a Dagestani wrestler. The list goes on of the different combat disciplines. Bodkau in Muay Thai, Badr Hari in that same sport of Muay Thai and kickboxing. But in MMA, I cannot answer who my favorite fighter is in MMA simply because I cover MMA, and as a result, I would rather not have a favorite fighter in MMA while covering MMA full time so that I can objectively analyze the sport in its deepest respect in the best way that I can. So I hope that answers your question. And then he says Terrence Crawford. He says that Terrence Crawford sucks at boxing, according to Harold the First. Okay, well, that is your opinion. Dinkelstein Play says, who wins between Patty versus Gaethje? That's a very 50-50 fight. I'm going to absolutely go with Patty on that one, just based on the recent performances that he's had. But you never know. Justin Gaethje might just edge out a decision on him, especially if it's just within a 3-round radius. Harold the First says Dan Hooker might be the best grappler in the UFC right now. Well, that's a bit of an interesting take you got right there, Harold the First. The best grappler in the UFC right now is Dan Hooker. That's an interesting take there. Dinkelstein Play says John Jones is not the GOAT in my opinion. Okay, well, give me your opinion on that matter, why you don't think he's the GOAT. I can give you some list of reasons why I also think he is, but there's a difference between past tense and present tense. And when you're talking about John Jones, there's two elements that I think you really should take a look at. The number one element you should take a look at with John Jones is that he was great at light heavyweight. Yes, Hassan Muhammad just said in the comment section right now, USADA. Okay, that is a factor as well. So, yo, bro, I'm going to pull the blicky on you. I would love to see you try to do that, Harold the First. I highly doubt you could. But on any regard, yeah, man, I trust me on this. I don't do very well with threats online or anything like that, but I'm sure you're probably joking. So you have about like probably 1 minute to prove to me that you're joking, because I don't joke about with no blickies or with no guns or nothing like that. So yeah, man. But on any regard, yes, John Jones, there's two elements that you could look at with John Jones. Number one, the first element is the fact that he did his job at light heavyweight. The other element is that he's very inactive as a champion, a paper champion at that, in the heavyweight division. So what did Dinkelstein here says? You should do a training session video. I do. I have many training session videos. Obviously, I've done a lot of live streams on that. Oh man, Crisis King just blessed me with a $2 um, super chat. Shout out to you on that. Ask me, how do you feel about certain people? Well, I tell you this, right? there's two elements, just like what I told you about John Jones. To answer this super chat right here, right? What I told you about John Jones, there's two ways to look at him, right? His accomplishments and everything that he was supposed to do in the light heavyweight division. And then there's becoming the heavyweight champion on paper while also not becoming a very active champion at that. So those are two elements that can coincide with each other as a reality. So my thoughts on what you are saying is that when you are on YouTube, there's one thing that you say, and then when you are in front of your co-religionists, people that are your fellow brothers and sisters, there's another thing that you would say. So I hope that answers your question on that particular super chat. And everybody, shout outs to Crisis King for that super chat. And also showing that even if you are a Christian and I am a Muslim, that we can all coincide with each other. And of course, to sort of also answer your question in that super chat and understand this, there's an element to, well, let me leave that alone. Let me leave that alone. Let me just say this, right? There's things that you say, and then there's things that you don't say, but then there's things that you know. So Harold the First says thoughts on the DAP pen. On a DAP pen, I don't know what exactly that is. If that's some kind of smoking device, I don't really know too much about it. But please care to, please care to entertain me on that. Yeah, and then he said that when we meet, I'm gonna pull the blicky on you. I highly doubt that. I absolutely highly doubt that. I would love to see you try, but on any regard, what fight is more exciting, Ilya versus Charles, or is it JDM versus Islam? I think we know the answer to that. It is Islam versus JDM. Okay. Juice Man 562 says, "What's good, brother? How's the 209?" Very good, brother. I'm in the Sacramento area right now, obviously, but yeah. Well, I mean, I live in the Sacramento area, but yeah, I'm in Stockton frequently as much as I can. But yes, it's all good. Northern California, all the way to Southern California in Long Beach, everything is good, brother. Everything is good, cause you know how that goes. But yeah, now, speaking of the heavyweight division, because this is obviously a particular topic in this particular live stream that I had mentioned. Oh, Sacktown, apologies. All good. No. It's fine. All of my folks and all of that are in Stockton. But yeah, I've been living in Sacramento for quite some time. But yeah, on any regard, it's let's just say it's both cities I'm in with no problem or any controversies at all. So let's put it like that. But yeah, that speaking of John Jones being a part of this topic of conversation, now the question is the heavyweight division in the UFC right now declining? And I happen to think that it is, right? In comparison to, let's say, in the days of Cain Velasquez, you had Frank Mir, you had all of these guys. Right now, Tom Aspinall literally has no competition. And I'm going to tell you why that is very detrimental to his future career trajectory. Number one, nobody is really lighting a fire in the ass of Tom Aspinall. Right now, Tom Aspinall is the best heavyweight in the world. There's only one man that can challenge that notion. One man has to clear up some possible murder cases or possible what do you call it manslaughter cases that he has going on in Cameroon. And the other guy, well, we don't know what standings he has going on because we don't know if the UFC is behind it or if it has something to do with the TV deals or if it's just that John Jones is a duck. But for argument's sake and to end all controversies, we could just say that Tom Aspinall is number one right now. But even him as number one, I think there's a certain decline that he's going to have later on, being with the lack of competition that he has. Now, granted, he is doing something good that many of you in the heavyweight division are not doing, and that's inviting a lot of heavyweights that are champions from other organizations, upcoming heavyweights in the UFC, such as Mick Parkin and other champions that I've mentioned, like Phil DeFries. All these guys, they are all training partners of Tom Aspinall. And as a result of that, Chadius Gaming says, "How do you make a certain type of weapon?" I wouldn't know how to answer that, and I know that you're just speaking out of banter and this and that. But please, be very careful about what we talk about here or this and that. As a matter of fact, Chadius, I'm not going to put you on timeout, but I have to erase that comment. Okay, just for safety reasons. I'm not going to put you on timeout or anything like that because it's not warranted. I know that you mean well, but understand this, right? Just like what Crisis King asked about the super chat, okay? There's things that you can ask me as a homie in person, and then there's things that you can't ask me on YouTube, and we have to use our intelligence to differentiate these two things, right? Yeah, it's Chatty's Gaming says, "Sorry, no problem, bro, no problem." Listen, it is all, not just for it's for the safety of the channel. So no offense, but you know that it's no offense because obviously I didn't I didn't put you on timeout for something like that. I understand your banter, your sense of humor, and this and that. By the way, Chattiest Gaming, what part of the world are you from, right? Are you from the UK by any chance or the United States? Let me know what part of the world you are from because the reason why I asked that is because depending on US, okay, what part of the US are you from? The reason why I'm asking is because, different regions in the United States and around the world, they just have a different way of humor and how they go about things. So, if you are from, let's say, the UK or something like that, I know that they're very big on banter and this and that. A lot of these dudes make like yo mama jokes with each other. Ohio. Okay. Yeah. This is what obviously Americans too, we have a sense of humor, about us. And I understand that. I understand that that's part of the culture, part of interactions and sometimes a different way of showing your endearment. But we have to adhere to safety at all times because you don't want your channel to be deemed suspicious by the higher ups. But of course, yeah, we can speak in certain cryptic languages that kind of know what we mean. So, but yeah, it's all good. I would not know how to make something like that. And yeah, I would imagine if you really want to know how to make something like that, you would probably have to go ask the Pakistani military because the way that they're whooping India's behind right now, you would probably imagine that they know a thing or two about that. So at least that's what I hear. They're the ones that are winning the wars right now. If you guys have any uh, contrasting opinions or subjective realities to that nature, please let me know. Juiceman562 says, "I will still buy Masvidal versus Edwards. It's still out there, in my opinion." So that's a very good point right there, right? Now that we're in the conversation of matchmaking, and I'm going to get to the decline of UFC heavyweights and MMA heavyweights around the world. But first, let me entertain this particular comment with Juiceman562, right? I would absolutely buy that fight as well with Masvidal and Edwards. There is a storyline behind that, and with that storyline, there has to be a follow up. So as a result of that, I think that with the trajectory of Edwards right now and Masvidal, I think that it is the best time for them to fight each other right now. Masvidal can come back from his hiatus that he had going on, and Edwards is coming off of a losing streak. So this is the best time for them to do it. At one point, we thought we may never see this matchup because Edwards is on his way up as Masvidal was coming down, coming from that loss of Colby Covington, and then never coming back after that. So I think it is the best time to make that matchup right now. So D. Bruin says, "I'm your Muslim Moroccan brother from the Netherlands. Crazy how F." All right. Well, shout out to you, D. Bruin. You are Moroccan from Netherlands. All right. That's great, man. We got uh, our brothers from the Netherlands and Moroccan brother at that. I know there's a lot of Moroccans in the Netherlands, a lot of Moroccans in that part of Europe. So shout outs to you guys and everything and all of that. And thank you for the support. By the way, guys, keep hitting the like button, the subscribe button, and let's continue on with this conversation of the heavyweight division on the current decline right now. Uh, D. Bruin says kickboxers out here much. Oh yeah, man. You guys are definitely big in the kickboxing realm. Obviously, Rico Verhoeven is a very well-known kickboxer, and yeah, as a result of that, he's quite heavy in those parts of the world. But on any regard, speaking of heavyweights, right? Rico Verhoeven, he's a heavyweight champion in kickboxing and glory. Now let's transition our focus on the heavyweight division in the UFC. I'm going to say it like this, right? In American sports, if you're a big guy, 6'6" plus, you have basketball. Even taller, even better in basketball. If you are a big guy, right, like those Samoan sized guys that are hugged up, 260-pound plus, you can be a football player. And especially if you're fast and all of that. And then there's hockey, and then there's what else? Basketball. There's also baseball, a lot of really good athletes, guys that also have a martial arts background in that particular sporting field. And then there's soccer if you're out in Europe, or what you guys football. So look, the heavyweight division, okay, and then rugby, of course, obviously, because that attracts a lot of the big guys in Ireland, in England, in Scotland, also in the other Commonwealth states, especially in Australia. So a lot of these heavyweight athletes, these very athletic heavyweight guys, are being sucked into a different system of sport. And being that that's what it is, you're not going to get a high quality of heavyweights the way that you would in other sports. So let me read this comment by D. Bruin right here. What do you think about Ilya saying Islam ran away from him? Crazy, while Islam wanted to move up a long time ago, and now he had the chance. Now they call him a duck. What do you think about that? Look, I appreciate the question on that, but I also want to really give you an intellectual understanding of what is going on here between Islam and Ilya. Right now, I know that people are saying, okay, well, Ilya said this, but does it really mean that he really means that? Does he really mean that is the question. I don't think he means that. I think it's just nothing more than fight banter. And as a result of that fight banter that is going on between them, I think that Ilya is using any low hanging fruit he can to attack Islam. And the reason why he needs to do that is because he really wanted to fight for the lightweight championship. He wanted the legacy. Look, when you are at the level of Ilya Topuria in Islam, right? It's not about being scared. It's not about anything like that at this level. In this level, what it is strictly about one thing. It is about the status of the person that you beat. Now, is it nice that he could go in there, win the lightweight title against Charles Oliveira? Sure. But Charles Oliveira already got submitted by Islam. And that's why Charles Oliveira said, I'm about to show the world that the true lightweight champion never left. Well, you did. You lost to Islam. So you did leave. In a way, you got pushed out of your title reign, right? So this notion that he never left, I mean, that's a little crazy. But in Ilya's mind, he knows that, and he knows that Islam is a real champion. So if you are Ilya Topuria, would you rather fight Charles Oliveira for the championship, or would you rather fight the real champion, the real linear champion, which is Islam? And I think the answer, if you're Ilya Topuria, is I'd rather fight Islam. But this is an even bigger blessing for Ilya Topuria, because all Islam Makhachev needs to do is win this fight, and he gets an opportunity to become a three-weight world champion. And then you can actually hold a double championship if you were to actually beat Islam. But now you have an opportunity to do that. So yeah, Ilya's saying these things. It's not so much out of meanness or trying to get in the skin of Islam in any kind of way. It's literally trying to build fight banter later down the road. So that's something we got to understand, right? That's all it is. It's just trying to build something down the road. So, but back to the heavyweight division, right? The ever declining heavyweight division of the UFC right now. Let's take a look at the heavyweight rankings of the UFC right now to give a perspective in what I'm talking about. Okay, so let me give you guys a little bit of some perspective here. So let's go down to the heavyweight division, which is right here. Okay. Main focus at hand is the heavyweight division. And then, okay. Go back right here. Okay. Let's take a look at the list up and down. Okay. Tom Aspinall is the interim. Cyril Gahn is number 2. Think about this, right? Cyril Gahn is number 2, and he has no wrestling. Tom Aspinall, probably the most well-rounded of them all. John Jones is the most well-rounded of them all. And that is why this fight is as big as it is, because these are the two guys that we really want to see. And they're both well-rounded as F. Okay? Alexander Volkov. I mean, he's impressive to look at. He's 6'7", very tall, very dominating if he wants to be, right? Has good range, but has had several losses already, right? And you got to think, right? How is it that a guy with these many losses is already like number 3 in the heavyweight division? But that's neither here or there. Sergey Pavlovich, obviously a very scary human being, still not the most impressive. Okay, so you know what? I don't want to diminish too much of the guys on the top of the heavyweight division right now, right? I mean, Derek Lewis is still at number 9. Tai Tuivasa is at number 10, but he beat him. And then Waldo Cortez Acosta is right at number 11. And then Mick Parkin is right up there. Myson Tybura, Sergey Spivak, Jailton Almeida, Taliesin Teixeira, and then Martin Buday at number 15. So, look, have you seen what Martin Buday looks like? Let's really put this in perspective, right? To kind of give you this. This is the number 15 guy, the guy that just made it right into. I mean, look, it's not the worst record in the world, but I just need you to understand this guy is a top 15 UFC heavyweight. You understand? This is a top 15 UFC heavyweight. So enough about him, and back to the subject matter at hand. Yeah, it's just on a decline. They're not highly athletic. They're not even the most technically sound that they can be. Yeah, man, that's the reality of the heavyweight division right now. It's not the most exciting, okay? Not the most exciting division there is. But on any regard, before we get more cracking into that subject, I want to get to the next topic that I wanted to get into in this live stream, and that is the Tory Lanez situation. Okay, so De Bruin says UFC needs to focus on making the heavyweight great again. They keep getting lighter guys from other organizations, but they are not looking for heavyweights to bring them in the UFC or other organizations. Yeah, so Phil DeFries, I think it's a long time coming. He should come to the UFC, right? I believe he is the champion at KSW, and then maybe other champions in. Yeah, man, there's a lot of heavyweights out there that they could bring in, but they're not doing that for one reason or another. So let's see here. Okay, let's get to the Tory Lanez situation. We're going to get back into the Dubs. I'm sorry, the heavyweight division, but I want to talk about Tory Lanez, right? Because there's some interesting new information that we could gather out of Tory Lanez right here. Look, was Tory Lanez set up, and by who? I think who set up Tory Lanez was probably the police, and Dubs has a very good theory as to why. Let's listen to my man Dubs right here.
Book on dollar.com to get our lowest rates. Why are you in my house? Free game jitters and an easy to use touchscreen.
What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. I know I'm doing a lot of videos on Tory Lanez.
He is. This is like his fourth video on Tory Lanez, but very informative because there's a lot of good subjects that he brings up on these particular matters. I urge you guys to check it out. By the way, that channel is Dubs, D-U-B-S. That's it. Literally, you just write in Dubs, and it's this channel right here. So if you see this symbol, that's it. That's all you need. And yeah, hit like and subscribe on that one to my man Dubs for topics and subjects like this.
But I think out of all the videos I've done, to me personally, this is the most important.
All right, so keep in mind, this is the most important because this is the one where he talks about how the police were the ones that set up Tory Lanez, and with good reason as to why. And part of the reason why is because Tory Lanez complained about the treatment of minorities and people of color inside prisons. So stay tuned. Okay, we're going to talk about MMA as well, but I wanted to get to this topic for a second, and then we'll jump back into MMA.
I'm seeing guys frivolously talking about the attack on Tory Lanez needs to lead to a race war between brown and black. The loudest voices I'm hearing is Whack 100 and Hassan Campbell.
Whack 100 on Paru! On Paru!
And it is a trip to me. First of all, anybody that's not from the state of California that is trying to say that this needs to be a race war, I feel like you're way out of your lane. And for Whack 100, a multi-million.
Well, as for Whack 100, he should absolutely know better, right? I mean, he should know that the guy who did this alleged stabbing was, I mean, the dude was a child molester. Like put this in perspective, right? How are people calling for a race war with this Tory Lanez stabbing when this Mexican that stabbed Tory Lanez was in there because he murdered his 13-year-old girlfriend when he was 20? Let me say that again. He murdered his 13-year-old girlfriend when he was 20 back in the early 2000s. And this is the guy that the Mexicans are going to go to war for. And I think that makes sense why Dubs is making this video. But yeah, listen to this.
In there to be calling for a race war and calling for the blacks to retaliate and the blacks to rise up against Mexicans inside of the California Department of Corrections. I find that not only to be irresponsible, but extremely ignorant. And I'm going to say why. I've already said in my video.
Yeah, I 100% agree that it is ignorant because there's more to this story than what people are not looking into.
Another video that I did, that the individual that moved on, that attacked, that they're identifying as attacked Tory Lanez, somebody with the exact same name, busted around the exact same time, same age, has some really bad charges.
Which is that he killed his 13-year-old girlfriend when he was 20. Let me say that again. Killed his 13-year-old girlfriend when he was 20. So in other words, the dude is a chomo. And this is who the Mexicans are going to ride for, which, by the way, obviously is further from that truth.
The yard that this took place on, the dude that did it, that they're identifying, and people that are talking about, why are you talking about? He's been identified. He obviously didn't try to, hit him and run or hit him and get away. He stayed on him. He hit him 14 times. They put his picture out there. I am willing to...
Yeah, yo, that's crazy. He stabbed him 14 times, man. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't just stab him and then run away. He stabbed him and then kept doing it over and over and over again. It's crazy.
I put it in my video. I've said it in my lives. I believe that guy that attacked Tory Lanez is an EOP inmate, meaning he's taking medication because he has a mental illness. Mental illness is not an excuse for anybody's actions in there. But I'm trying to explain, how are blacks and Mexicans on a GP yard supposed to go to war over...
For those of you who don't understand what GP means, it means general population, meaning that you're an inmate that is not in protective custody. Yeah, so basically you're in there with everybody, and that means that anything is liable to happen to you due to the politics that are involved in that particular section.
An incident that happened because of a JCAT, an EOP, somebody who's nuts and not welcomed. Now, I just found something on Tory Lanez's IG that, to me, as a twist, I'm going to put it on the screen here, but I want to read what I feel is the important part. I want to read that to you right now. Since the first day I was incarcerated, all I've seen is blacks and other minorities receive the most cruel, illegal, and unfair punishment/treatment. For so many nights, I asked God to reveal his purpose in making me go through the ills of the prison system. I was later shown that purpose. I was placed in jail to suffer, to feel, and to witness firsthand the pain and oppression being inflicted upon young black and brown men and women of my generation. I knew I had to change this injustice, so I made a plan that when I got to prison, I would figure out a way to record music and put all the proceeds towards the legal representation of my fellow inmates, giving them a once-in-a-lifetime chance to go home to their family.
So in other words, let me explain this in layman's terms. What Tory Lanez is doing is causing a lot of problems towards the correctional facility. Okay, in other words, they're trying to keep under the hush all the things that they're doing wrong, right? They're trying to keep all of that under hush. Meanwhile, Tory is trying to rock the boat. You understand? This is where all of this is going. Tory Lanez is trying to rock the boat, and as a result, he got stabbed because the cops paid off this pedophile to go and stab Tory Lanez. And even worse, make it look like a brown versus black issue, which it never was. Especially when that person is somebody that the Mexicans would not dare ride with because he's a known pedophile.
Appeal and resentencing. Although the higher-ups have stopped the prison tapes temporarily, they were too late to stop my overall plan. Since the month of July, I've afforded legal representation to 472 inmates and
Wow. So he gave legal representation to 472 inmates, and as a result of that, it opened 467 cases, so basically helping all of them. With the help of the legal firm Unite the People, so many inmates will be returned to their families and loved ones. I'm naming this the Hands of God project. Well, lastly, they know I'm a threat and they don't want me saying or doing this. So if anything happens to me, just know I went out in a blaze of glory trying to revolutionize the end of a mass incarceration era on our people. So now you understand why this guy probably got stabbed. It is because he's out there rocking the boat in ways that the higher ups don't want him doing so.
Actively reopened 476 cases. With the help of the legal firm Unite the People, so many inmates will be returned to their families and loved ones. I'm naming this the Hands of God Project. Tory Lanez is on a mission to get people out of prison, regardless of race, ethnicity, gang affiliation, lack of gang affiliation. He specifically mentions brown and black. That's a beautiful thing, right? But you know what jumps out to me?
What's that, Dubs?
The higher ups. When he mentions the higher ups, he's talking about the California Department of Corrections. Imagine 472 inmates have received representation. 476 cases reopened. If even 100, if even 10 of those people get to go home, that's 10 people that the CDC doesn't get to hold on to. That's not in the budget for $100,000 a year. Imagine that. 10 of them, $100,000 a year. They don't get that money. 100 of them, $100,000 a year to house them. The CDC doesn't get that money. The CDC damn sure doesn't spend $100,000 on inmates. Where does that money go? This to me solidifies, reaffirms my belief that the guy that hit Tory Lanez was not playing with a full deck. And this wasn't an accident. This wasn't some weird thing. Now, I heard in the press conference, Tory Lanez's father said that the Thursday prior to the assault, Tory Lanez was aware that there was some kind of threat. I don't know what that is. Only his family knows. But I wouldn't be surprised if the threat came from an officer. And then this happened. It'll all come out in the wash.
So you understand how crazy all of this is, right? Tory Lanez is trying to ruffle some feathers, going after the incarceration and the judicial system, and potentially even going after the jobs of correctional officers. Yeah, I mean, that's what's going on here. But nonetheless, oh, let's see. Mom's demand full auto. No cauliflower ear, no training bruises, big, huge Hamas beard. You look like a lot of the guys I interrogated overseas. I hope I see you around, boo. I mean, yeah, what a dumb comment for you to talk about, man. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, first of all, like, do I have to show? Okay, I have to do this every time. Every time some bozo comes in here doubting the reality of me and what I can do, I have to go and do this once again. Okay, so bozo, if you look right here, okay, I have fought before. You understand? I've fought amateur Muay Thai. I fought in MMA, and I train literally consistently. You know, on a daily basis. Look, let me show you this. I think you really don't understand what you are dealing with here. Okay. I don't see you in the photos. What the hell are you talking about, you idiot? Look at this. What are you talking about? Listen, what in God's name are you talking about? Look, that's the tattoo that I've had since then. You're an idiot. Like, what you need to do, talking about interrogated people, bro. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, you right there, you're another one of these people that lies about who they are online just to feel better about yourself. As a matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? Um, Mom's on auto display. I'm going to check out your channel right here. Let's see this person's channel right here. Okay, so let's see here. You've had 2 timeouts. You have 46 subscribers from the past 10 years. You're anonymous. You're over here. You've commented plenty of times in my live streams here. Okay, this is America. You absolutely So this is you in a nutshell right here. I mean, what is this? Please do. How long ago was that? Like 8 years ago? Please do. Not much. Yeah, look, I'm just trying to show you that you're a bozo. That's really what it is. And look, I don't like name calling people or anything like that, but you're over here trying to like doubt my experience in the fight world or this and that. Like, I've showed plenty of times in this chat all my fight videos, my fight clips, and my training videos, and this and that. And then you come in here and you disrupt the whole entire chat just for your own pleasure of trying to say, oh, well, I interrogated people like you back in the days or this and that. What branch? What branch were you in? Let's entertain this. I love these people that love to claim they were in the military and all of this and that, but never really have anything to show for it. Can't blame me for being curious. What do you mean can't blame you for being curious? Explain what exactly were you curious about, you bozo? Huh? What exactly were you curious about? Army 19K. I don't understand what 19K means. Wait. Shout out to Irish Boy. I miss you. Irish Boy is back in the house. Shout out to Irish Boy right here. All right, my man Irish Boy is in here. Let's gang up on this ignorant American right here. I don't even know if you're American in the first place. Mom's Demand Full Auto over here is claiming that he interrogated people overseas and this and that. Tony Ramos asks, is this about MMA? It is. It's about MMA, but it's also about me getting at somebody in the chat right now. But for the most part, it is about MMA until somebody comes and interrupts and says something stupid, and then I have to put them on full blast mode and shame them for everybody in the world. 19K is MOS designation. You wouldn't know. Okay, well, good for you. Good for your Army background and this and that. I really don't care. And quite frankly, I highly doubt that you've done any interrogation on anybody, because if you did, you wouldn't be online. I was in the first ID 163 ARC 2ACB first pit. Okay, good. Well, good for you, bro. I don't really care if you were really all about that life. I don't think you would be in here talking all of that. Now, look, here's the thing, though. Here's what I will say, and this is the last attention that I'm going to give to Moms on Demand, who comes in here claiming that, well, you're not a real fighter or this and that. I just showed you my fight pics, my clips, and this and that, and I do this on every live stream. And then you come in here and you just completely interrupt the entire flow process just to feel like you feel better than everyone. Well, you thought I was lying. I'm retired. Yeah, so I'm online. Look, here's the thing that I want to say about online, right? There's a lot of fake gangsters online, but then there's also real gangsters that are online as well. And the reason explanation for that is because the rap and hip hop world sort of influence and emphasize everybody to put yourself out there, right, for entertainment value. So there's that attached to the culture of gangsterism, is the culture of rap, the culture of entertainment, and this and that. But if you are in the military, You are sworn, especially if you're interrogating people that look like me. Okay, if you are really all about that life, you wouldn't be in here talking online. That's just the reality of it. Moms demand on full auto, right? So you can talk all of this, MOS designations that you had, all these military jobs that you've had that you claim you have. But the reality is you're an anonymous person online. And if you want to remain anonymous, then do so. But guess what? People who have had military jobs are actually anonymous and you are just not. Tony Ramos says, just ignore Mama's boy. Yeah, that's the last that I'm going to talk about you. And just on that alone, I'm going to put you on. And yet, here I am. Enjoy. LOL. Well, you know what, man? Listen, I'm telling you exactly what you think or claim that you are, and all of that just doesn't make sense because look, you just want to feel better about yourself, bro. That's really what it is. Let me explain why you just wanted to say this to feel better about yourself. And I'm going to give you a lot of examples. Mom's demand on full auto. Because here's the thing, right? I think you're the type of person that likes to bully people. And I'm going to try to talk like I don't know you. I'm going to try to talk without any considerations to your own reality, saying that you were an army interrogator overseas and this and that. The only reason why you're saying that is because you are stumbling upon an MMA page. Oh, here's an Arab guy. I'm going to make him feel, worse about himself by saying I'm an interrogator. I was in a position of power when I was overseas over this guy. But that's the reality of it. And you know what? Here's the logical thing that I can say in response to that. Well, I can say, well, I could beat your ass or this and that. We can go meet up or this and that. Look, that's all well and good if I was in my 20s and I'm saying all of that, right? But as a mature man, this is the reality and the scope that I'm looking at this is that I don't know if I'll ever meet you in real life. And that's just the true to God, honest reality. A lot of guys make a lot of empty threats online, but the reality is they know that they will never see this person ever in their whole entire life. And I don't even know why they say that. But the reality is, Mom's demand on full auto. You're only saying that to feel better about yourself. So here it is. There's your 15 minutes of fame. And I hope that you enjoy that. And I hope that you feel better about yourself. But the reality is, who's talking spit? Corey Dismute says, Mom's on demand full auto here. First, Mom's demand on full auto says that I don't have fight experience because I don't have a cauliflower ear or this and that or any bruises. And that's the thing, right? Like, I should be having bruises if I'm a fighter or something like that. Everybody in the chat who's been here, who's been an OG of this chat, knows that I've had real fights, knows that I've been in fights, whether it's on the streets or, or in a sanctioned situation. Tony Ramos says, let's talk about JDM and him trying to attempt to smear me into saying a racial connotation. Nice try, Tony Ramos. So you see, Mom's full on demand. If you want to get my attention, that's what you should do. Look at what Tony Ramos is saying on the comment section below, right? He's trying to get me to say something that sounds like it's a racially derogatory matter, and I'm not going to fall for it. Now, here's the funny thing, right? You guys can read it. I'm not going to erase it because guess what? Reading it in your head is not as racist as saying it out loud. But if you were to say it and actually spell it in its actual meaning, then I would have to get rid of that and I would have something to say about that as somebody that would have to moderate the chat. But other than that, yeah. And notice how Mom's on demand is quiet right now after talking all of that. Yeah, I interrogated people like you and overseas. Yeah, man. Well, I hope that you have some serious PTSD issues coming out of that. And I hope that you have nightmares for the rest of your life. What do you think of that? All right. So let's get back to the topic at hand, or we can continue on with this, man, because I already said everything that I wanted to say from the very beginning. You want to know what? This is the format of my chat, right? I start from the very beginning. I touch all the topics that I want to talk about. And then after that, Then I go in to freestyle mode, which is what we're doing right now. Mark Yakic says, what happened here? Moms on Demand is trying to say that I've never fought before because I don't have bruises in my face and I don't have cauliflower ears, so therefore I've never fought. And then here it is. I have to go and show my fight pictures again, my clips and this and that, my training videos of me literally outworking everybody in the gym and making them all look like a bunch of bitches. And then here's Moms on Demand talking about how he interrogated people like me overseas. Another one of these stolen valor idiots online. Hey, stolen valor idiot, I got something for you. I'm going to show you something, you stolen valor idiot, you. Okay, talking about I interrogated people overseas. As a matter of fact, man, I'm going to look you up. Okay, I'm going to find out who is behind Moms on Demand on Full Auto, and then we're going to find out and see if you really are about what you say you're about. I'm going to show you a picture right now, okay, that's going to shock the living hell out of you right now, and you're going to shut up for the rest of your life. And as a matter of fact, you're probably never even going to make a comment in your stupid freaking thing ever again in your whole entire life. Watch. I'm about to put your military career to shame right now. And for those of you that are watching right now, hit the like and subscribe button as I put Mom's Demand on Full Auto's military career on absolute disgrace. Let's go right now. Hit the like button. I'm about to put your military career on disgrace right now. I can't wait. I can't wait. Hit the like and subscribe button, guys, because we're going to put this person to shame. So hold on just a second. Corey Dismook says, dude, don't feed into that mess. You're doing something to better yourself, and haters aren't. They are just mad because you're doing better than them. Thank you so much, man. But you know what? Sometimes you got to let them know what's up, right? So yeah, let me, I'm going to pull up a picture of me. This is a picture of me, by the way. So, by the way, something that you don't have on your channel to claim that you are this interrogator. By the way, everybody, if you want to know who the overseas interrogator is, it is Moms on Demand Full Auto, whoever you are. Find him, shame him. That's what we're going to do. We're going to destroy everything that you stand for you coming in here and talking the smack that you do. So, yeah, man. Hold on a second here. I was gonna pull up my dress blues picture, but you guys have seen that's on my community tab. Hold on, let me see here. Post, hold on. But yeah, no, I agree with you, Corey, on that one. Absolutely agree with you on that one. It is just haters, but at the same time, you got to let them know what's up. Look, especially if you're talking all of that, high powered stuff, talking about I'm an interrogator or this and that, right? I'm going to put you to shame and I'm going to put you on blast based on that. So I'm not letting that one go. So, you know what I mean? Usually I would be blocking people like Moms on Demand right now, but right now, that's not the case here. Hold on a second here. Where is this picture? Here we go. Right here. Right here. You got one of these? You got one of these Moms on Demand? You got one of these or what? You got one of these? Huh? Show it on your on your channel, on your little rinky dink channel that you got going on. Notice how you got nothing to say. Let's go up and read your comment again. Moms on demand. This is what Moms demand full auto says. No cauliflower ear, no training bruises, big huge Hamas beard. First of all, how the hell do you even know what a Hamas beard looks like? Huh? How do you know? You look like one of these guys are interrogated overseas. I'll blow you a kiss. Trump 2025. Like you're talking about Trump 2025 like I'm supposed to be offended that you voted for him. Like a lot of you people, see, here's the thing that's wrong with a lot of you people, okay? The biggest thing that's wrong with a lot of you people is you like to attach yourselves to something to feel better about yourselves. Okay, well, because I'm white, I can feel better about this because you're this. Okay, because I'm this color or I'm this race or I'm this religion, I can attach myself to this. The reality is you're a freaking loser. Do you not understand that? If you have to attach yourself to some sort of reality that you claim you've lived, and I mean, man, I don't know, man. But yeah, let's get off that, man. I've given way too much energy for that. But at the same time, you know what? It's great entertainment. Okay, so understand this. You want to come in here and you want to diss me? Just understand that I'm going to make an entertainment out of you. And notice how Moms on Demand, has nothing to say here. Change the subject, Christian Myers. All right. All right. You're right. Shout out to Christian Myers. Shout out to Corey. But sometimes it'll get like that in in these chats, right? So you got to let them know and and let them know what's up because you're not about to just try and overtalk me and say something that is outrageous without me putting an objective reality to it, right, Mr. Overseas Interrogator? Where you at? Overseas Interrogator? What a joke! What a joke of a thing you are. But all right, back to the heavyweight division, right? So the heavyweight division in the current moment of time right now, I think, is probably at its weakest right now. In fact, Luke Thomas even said in his live chat yesterday that, you know what? Stand on business, Nina. That's right. That's right. Stand on business with that Nina. That's what I'm talking about, Christian Myers. Shout out to you. So back to the subject matter at hand. Luke Thomas said yesterday in a live chat that the men's heavyweight division right now is literally like the women's 145 division, almost non-existent. And I kind of see what Luke Thomas means by that. What Luke Thomas means by that is something to the effect that, hey, you know what? The heavyweight division right now literally has two guys. Just like how it was with the 145 division, there was literally two people. There was Holly Holmes, and then there was Amanda Nunes, if any, right? Maybe even Megan Anderson, I believe. Speaking of Holly Holmes, she's fighting on the Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez undercard. So she's going back to boxing after, what is it now, 12 years that she's been out of boxing. She was in boxing. She was out of boxing 12 years. So that's 2013. And then after that, she went into MMA full time, got into the UFC, and then fought Ronda, and the rest was history. You guys know how that went from there. So I think that the heavyweight division is sort of in that same state right now, right? Where it's just literally Megan Anderson and Amanda Nunes. Right now, it's John Jones, and then there's Tom Aspinall. Look, the reason why it's like that, look at what Tom Aspinall did to Sergey Pavlovich, right? He smoked him. Now, 1-1 is Curtis Blades, and but even if they're 1-1, Tom Aspinall already smoked Curtis Blades. Tom Aspinall also already smoked Alexander Volkov. Cyril Gahn, he's never been smoked by Tom Aspinall, but he's been smoked by John Jones. So all these guys, this is the reason why many people are not necessarily too impressed with the heavyweight division right now. Cyril Gane is number two. He gets smoked in the first round. Not competitive. Alexander Volkov gets smoked by Tom Aspinall. Sergey gets smoked by Tom Aspinall. Curtis Blades has been smoked by Tom Aspinall. Jailton Almeida has yet to prove himself in the top five division, but he's been smoked before on his way up to the heavyweight division. Sergey Spivak, Mycentar Bora, he's already been smoked by Tom Aspinall. Derek Lewis, inconsistent. Tai Tuivasa, inconsistent. Waldo, a little too small for the division. Shamil, okay, on the rise, but unproven. Mick Parkin, still unproven. Taliesin Teixeira, maybe overhyped. Martin Boudet, somebody who's in the top 15 and barely made it. That's the reality of the heavyweight division right now as we speak, right? So it doesn't seem as exciting as it should be. It doesn't seem as electrifying as it was when Brock Lesnar, Frank Mir, even the days of Strikeforce Grand Prix. Can you imagine? They had Josh Barnett, Daniel Cormier, and Fedor all in the same tournament bracket, right? This is not the same for the UFC right now. The UFC is in a completely different trajectory when it comes to when it comes to the heavyweight division in the current moment of time. But I think that there is a time where the heavyweight division can improve. Okay, because right now, yes, this is the top 15 that you have in the heavyweight division right now, right? I understand that is your top 15 in the current state. I get that. But Shamil is undefeated. Shamil Gaziev, okay, he's undefeated. What if he rises above all of this, right? Tom Aspinall right now, he's a once in a lifetime talent. He's the interim champion. They have to do something with John Jones at some point in the future to make this clear. Also, take into consideration Francis Ngannou is gone from the organization. So now it creates even more confusion for the heavyweight division in and of itself, right? A lot of confusion going on. So now, uh, what do you do? Look, you know what John Jones should do? He should vacate the title. I swear to you, he should vacate the title. I'm being honest. John Jones needs to vacate the title in order to keep the division going. You know what George St. Pierre said, right? Let's take a look at George St. Pierre talking about dropping the title. GSP drops title right after he beat Michael Bisping. This is important to understand, right? Why uh, why did GSP drop the title? Let's see here. I'm trying to look for. Okay, here it is. The reason why he relinquished the belt in the Joe Rogan podcast. Here we go. You might know Harbor Freight for affordability. What you might not know is performance and durability. The Joe Rogan experience. Years of competition. You know all the problem I have, the colitis and all that. That's because of that BS that I got it, like putting too much on me. It's normal. If I fight again, it will go back the same pattern. I will be very stressed, and it's normal to be stressed, but I will accept it. I accept it better now than I used to do when I was younger. Now, for those of you that are wondering why I'm playing this has a component to what John Jones should be doing in a heavyweight division right now. By the way, the title of this on the JRE clips is Why GSP Relinquished the Middleweight Title. But yeah, let's react to this to kind of give a perspective on this matter. You won the title. There was thoughts of whether or not you would defend it, if you were going to fight Robert Whittaker, like what you were going to do. What caused your decision? What made you decide to relinquish the belt? So the reason why I relinquished the belt is I went to do some physical tests to see what is the problem with my health condition, because during
The cat, I knew I had problem. I didn't know what it was. I knew it was, the test, the blood test and everything for the cancer came negative. So after I went to do, like I said, colonoscopy, it came back that I have an ulcer inside my stomach. Then as a doctor, I say, how long it takes to get rid of this? I say, it's all your life. But the symptom can go up, down, depending every people, whatever they do differently. Then I started researching who's the best doctor, how can I do this, and that's when I started reading about like the fasting and stuff. And then I tried it, but I saw that a lot of in the sport of MMA, a lot of the guys are starving. They're not rich. I'm lucky now. I have enough money for the rest of my life. I don't need to fight anymore. If I don't.
So, yeah, let's get to where George talks about why he relinquished the belt. Let's just speed this one up a little bit, okay?
Do nothing crazy like buying private airplane. I'm not that kind of person or falling into drugs and stuff. I think I'm good. For me, my family, and everything. I think I'm good. However, when I'm looking at the landscape, I see another guy, Conor McGregor. He hold on to the title for the attention.
Okay, right here. This is why he dropped the belt right here, to give you guys a perspective. This is why he dropped the belt.
Answers and this and that. And a lot of people do that. They kind of stole the division. And I said to myself, I stand for the fighters. I always did, publicly. I said, well, I'm going to keep the title until to see if I feel better or not and defend it. Because I don't even know if my weight was dropping down. It's like I'm not even a 185. I'm more a 170 or 155ers. I don't have the size of a 185ers. So I'm like, I relinquish it right away. I don't want to stall the division and make people wait because of.
All right, so I'm gonna replay this part right here. Okay.
Relinquish it right away. I don't want to stall the division and make people wait because of me. Stall the division and make people wait because of me. Stall the division and make people wait because of me. The world don't go around me. You know what I mean? So for the respect, I did it.
So that right there, that is the reason why he relinquished the belt, because he is for the fighters. Number one, he doesn't even know if he was going to maintain being 185, and then on top of that, he did not want to hold up the division. He wanted to keep it going. All right, that was his main prerogative. He wanted to keep the division going. But how do you keep the division going if you're just going to hold on to the belt? So you understand what I'm trying to convey here with this message, right? What I'm trying to tell you is that John Jones needs to go out and do the right thing. He needs to do the right thing. What is the right thing? John Jones needs to relinquish the belt. He needs to go and tell people that, you know what, I'm done, because Tom Aspinall is the man right now. Maybe he's not the man, but he can go and fight somebody else to prove that he's the man. But for now, I was the man at some point, and there's a time limit for everything, and this is my time limit right now. He just needs to be very honest with people. And you know what? Here's something that I'm going to lead off of with this live stream right here, right? We're going to go into a bonus live stream, and we're going to talk about why John Jones is being pushed to fight Aspinall in the way that George St. Pierre isn't. Okay, that's going to be the bonus topic at hand right here for the bonus live stream, which I'm going to do in a couple of minutes from now, right? I want to talk about maybe for 5 minutes extra, maybe 10 minutes extra, however long it needs, right? That's the bonus stream that we do after the stream. It's just another way of me saying I'm going to keep the live stream going after a set of limits that I was going to give myself. But on any regard, that is a topic at hand that we're going to talk about right now. Why do people push John Jones to fight in ways that George St. Pierre didn't have to? Okay? That is the main topic at hand. Why was George St. Pierre never pushed to fight towards the limits that John Jones is fighting? That is the question in the bonus round that we are about to do in a couple of minutes. So stay tuned. I'm still going to keep the live stream going for a couple more minutes, that is the question that we're going to ask. Why? Why is John Jones pushed to fight in ways that George St. Pierre wasn't after obtaining their second championship? It's an important topic that we need to talk about. Okay, so stay tuned. We will be back for the bonus stream. I will be right back. All right. So for those of you that are still tapped in right now, welcome to the bonus round, right? And what is the bonus round or what is the bonus stream? I mean, it's literally just another way of me saying that I'm going to keep the stream going, maybe throw some exclusives. If you remember back in the days, right? You ever bought a CD back in the days, whether it was like rap or whether it was metal? I remember Slipknot had a hidden track back in the days. You guys know what a hidden track is, right? Well, it's sort of the same concept that I'm using with this stream, right? I'm doing a bonus stream and what have you, right? Where we talk about just various topics, things that deal with life, sometimes deals with MMA, but this time, this particular topic absolutely deals with MMA. Okay. And the topic question at hand is, why is it that people are forcing John Jones to fight in a way that uh, they haven't forced George St. Pierre to fight? So stay tuned. In a couple of minutes, we're going to talk about that, and we're going to keep the live stream going for just a little bit. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about that subject briefly, and then we will go from there. Hold on just a second. All right, so welcome to the bonus stream portion. I'm going to talk about why George St. Pierre is not being pushed to fight after winning his second title the way that John Jones is. It's simple as this: John Jones has had a lot of scandalous situations going on with his life outside of the cage. And George St. Pierre, look, regardless of his two losses that he avenged, by the way, in the hearts and minds of many people, he is the people's champion because he did everything right. He was respectful and he was politically correct and he was media friendly at that. So, as a result of that, understand this, right? How these people live their lives outside of the cage really is dependent upon the opinions of others of whether that person is a duck or whether that person is a coward or whether that person did things honorably, even if you can look at the objective statistics at hand as to say, well, this person is the greatest because X, Y, and Z. Uh, the reality is there is no difference between George St. Pierre and John Jones if John Jones decides to never fight Aspinall. And by the way, in the same reason why George St. Pierre never fought Robert Whitaker, who was the next in line at the time. What is the difference? The difference is the attitude that people have towards them based on the fact that one person is a lot more humble than the other, and the other person has been through some situations that are public, and not only that, public relations disaster for his brand. That's really the only difference in this whole entire story. But thank you for tapping into the bonus stream. I'd like to thank everybody that came in. Thank you for everybody that hit me with some super chats and hit me with uh, some positive reaffirmations, as well as the trolls again. I welcome all of you guys all the same. I will be right back for another live stream, maybe sometime today, maybe sometime tomorrow, but for sure I will be live for the fights tomorrow with Morales versus Gilbert Burns, and then I will probably do a live stream for Fisher versus David Allen boxing card. So some exciting times ahead. Everybody, don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next one, inshallah.